This video will demonstrate how SureClick Enterprise prevents malware from infecting a PC. Before we start, let's take 30 seconds to review how threat isolation in SCE works. The idea is a simple one. SCE puts each user task, such as going to a website or opening an email attachment, in its own virtual container isolated from everything else on the PC. These containers, called micro VMs, prevent any malware that may be present from escaping, so it can't infect the PC or anything else on the network. Crucially, the micro VMs are enforced by the PC's CPU hardware, so malware can't get around them. And when each task is completed, its micro VM is deleted, permanently removing the malware. Best of all, SCE is transparent to the user, as we'll see in the demo. To demonstrate SCE in action, we're going to show how it defeats a very common type of attack, a ransomware attack that uses a phishing email with a malware attachment. Here's an email from someone applying for a job. They've sent their resume in an attachment. It looks legitimate and I want to open it. None of my security products on the endpoint or email server has identified it as bad. That's because this document requires some user interaction to wake up the malware. As soon as I open the attachment, SureClick creates a micro VM for this instance of Word, which can be seen in the Live View console that lists the micro VMs. At this point, the malware starts encrypting files on the PC, but SureClick spots this malicious behavior and warns the user immediately. Crucially, because the malware is isolated in the micro VM, it can only encrypt fake honeypot documents within the micro VM. It doesn't have access to any of my real documents. The ransom note has now appeared because it thinks it's completed the encryption process. If I pick up the window and move it around, you'll see it's contained within the Word document. It's not on my desktop, it's stuck inside the micro VM. If I open a command prompt within the micro VM and list the files, we see that they're all encrypted. But these are the honeypot files and not anything I care about. The malware also doesn't have access to the internet, so it can't infect other devices on the internal network. I can deal with this malware just by closing the Word document. SCE terminates the micro VM, taking the malware with it. Now let's take a look at the attack forensics provided by SCE. The cloud-based or on-prem Wolf controller centralizes forensics collected for each attack that executed on the endpoints. It's effectively a distributed sandbox that requires no infrastructure or separate dedicated solutions. Let's take a look at the report for the ransomware we just encountered. The summary view organizes the malware actions using the MITRE ATT&CK framework and gives you a summary of why the task was marked as a threat in plain English. We get the DNS query list and a process graph which shows the execution flow of the malware. At the bottom, you see a map showing the location of the malware's communication targets. Turning to the graph view, you see every event associated with the threat, laid out on a timeline, which you can filter to narrow your view to event types of interest. In this case, we're highlighting each file encryption event. The Files panel lists any file accessed or modified by the threat, while the Behavioral view shows you what each process did as the malware executed. And finally, the Network view lists out all outgoing connection requests from the malware. In addition to these detailed forensics, the controller also provides consolidated threat reports across the entire PC inventory. This level of detail is far better than what you'll get from most solutions because SCE lets the malware harmlessly execute its kill chain and records exactly what it does. This makes it an invaluable tool for incident response, threat hunting, and policy management. SCE also includes a feature called credential protection to help prevent password theft. Phishing emails that trick people into entering their passwords on fake websites is a very common attack. Credential protection stops these attacks with real-time validation of web pages that request credentials from the user. Let's see how it works. SCE monitors web pages in the background and dynamically spots pages that ask for credentials. It then automatically triages the web pages as they are loaded using the HP Threat Intelligence service. If the user tries to enter a password on a page known to be legitimate, they will be allowed to do so. But if it's a known malicious site, SCE will block them from typing the password and will notify the user as shown. In addition to what we've just demonstrated, several more features are available, including the ability for customers to triage sites themselves and create allow and block lists for URLs, while full forensic information is collected by the Wolf controller. You've just seen how SCE prevents malware from infecting a PC or anything else on the network. The user didn't have to do anything special, and the security team gained threat visibility and didn't have to engage the incident response team or clean up the PC. SCE's threat isolation, along with its credential protection capability, represents a seismic shift in endpoint security. It combines detection, sandboxing, and prevention in a single solution with a single underlying technology. SureClick Enterprise is a game changer in endpoint security.